Since 1995, people from all over the world have trusted in the Spiritual Healing Center in Roth. At what is now Europe's most successful healing center, registered healers Anne Huebner and Tanja Aeckersberg offer comprehensive spiritual healing for humans and animals. The energy of divine order is an outstanding healing impulse for ailments of any kind. It can permanently cure congenital pelvic misalignments, leg length differences and spinal column curvatures in a single treatment, thereby creating a basis for the healing of all symptoms. From contact with the afterlife and message transmissions from the world beyond to connection with the higher self and the removal of primordial blockages. People from all over the world are delighted by the overwhelming healing success and also the special seminars. The Spiritual Healing Center in Roth, where the healing physics of God are practiced in a visible and verifiable way. Spiritual Healing Center in Roth.
A very warm welcome to all of you. I am very happy that you have come here. And when Tanja said earlier, nothing in life happens coincidentally, I would even state that the divine guidance has sent you here. We have this divine guidance within us. So we do not plan something accidentally. In some way, today you may learn about what I am doing. Do you believe in miracles? Gosh, I always say the word miracle is not even enough for my work. Don't think I'm trying to be arrogant here. But I really do perform miracles, even in this day and age. And it's not so simple. When I was planning to found a healing center in 1995, I even went all the way to Bonn to the Secretary of Health and showed her my skills. She was terrified. Spinal healing? What are we going to do with our first-class trained orthopedic doctors? I thought, that's not possible. Billions can be saved. People have a straight spine, no more pain. After all, I'm fighting against the #1 common disease. Everybody has back problems. 500 billion are spent annually on conventional medical therapies that are ineffective because everyone's pelvis is crooked, without exception. We come into the world already so crooked. Because we still have an old program. Don't be alarmed when I show you what we used to be like. I'll go over this a little faster. This is our center in Roth. And please remember the phrase, establishing the divine order. That wasn't always easy either, because many people said, oh, that's so religious. But no, it's the truth. I am establishing the divine order in you. You can't paraphrase that. The truth is the truth. And that is why I'll stick to this expression, and I will even prove it to you afterwards. Who then is my inspiration? You don't have to look far, because the most famous healer in the history of mankind, I should say, was Jesus Christ. Everything was already here. Spiritual healing was proven through him. You may wonder, why did all the people turn away from this path? What happened to them? Why was this wise man who could heal like that, let's say, treated badly? Believe me, when I founded my healing center in 1995, I was also criminal. Because we had an old Reich law from 1939 and spiritual healing was forbidden. But somehow, with a lot of effort, I managed. I also had to put up with the modern Middle Ages. The things they did to me, I went through so many trials. But thanks to Christos Dosinakis, a healer from Greece, who was just as much of a fighter as I was, we actually managed to have spiritual healing allowed in 2004. And I thank heaven that such a thing happened. So, Jesus is my inspiration. He already said, after me there will be other healers who will perform even greater miracles than me. That's what he said. I read that the other day in the New Testament purely by coincidence, because I have not been able to study such books. I don't have the time. I have to work so much, or rather, I'm allowed to work so much. In short, it says, after me, others will come who will perform miracles just as I do, if not more. And that reassured me very much. Well, what do I say about this? In fact, I had already started this. We are descended from this quadruped, and it had a rotable pelvis. Traditional medicine calls it a variable pelvis. It could be tilted from here to there and from front to back. Evolutionarily, we have the Neanderthal as a comparison. He already tried to walk on two legs. And then Homo sapiens, who already straightened up in the shoulder like this. It was always an improvement. And then comes a divine human being, the God-man. How beautiful that sounds, but he's not yet perfect, because he still has this variable pelvis, and therefore he has no balance. Therefore, he must carry, or better, hold the staff in order to be balanced. And that is the reason why humans develop back problems afterwards. Because its foundation is not good. The pelvis tilts back and forth, and the spine has to bend according to the Earth's gravitational force. That is the reason why people have scoliosis and all the resulting diseases. And what I'll do with you will have this result. All these defaults, evolutionary, developmental information, I will detach them from you, and you will stand in the divine order in an instant, which is not even measurable, in less than a second. And this will be forever. Because my healing work is not to be compared with chiropractic or with a technique, with a method, or anything invented by man. But it is the pure healing through the Spirit. This is how you will walk out of here when I finish treating you. Or wherever you want to go, maybe you want to come to me into the center. It will be the very, very big change. Because the whole history of humanity is allowed to change. It's a civilizational change. This energy simply brings light into us. And this grace that's being given to humanity now at this time, magnificent. Look, all the screws are being screwed. The being entangled in the past is dissolving off. And you ascend. And then, what do I call you? You are quantum gods. The quantum God is a human being in a human body who has merged into being one with God. The God within us. Now, you just have to accept that, and that's the way it is. Jesus also said, I and the Father are one. There has never been a separation. To look for God in some doctrine, I must not go into so much detail now. That is really a waste of time. God in us. But I must confess to you that this became only possible now, in the third millennium, in this day and age, which is also called the age of the divine spirit. From year 0 to 1000, the religious doctrines were created, the lands were discovered. From 1000 to 2000, we had the material world. That's when we also diverged from the divine. Our senses were so confused then that we didn't even look for God. But now, in the third millennium, which we have been for in 15 years, we are allowed to awaken the God within us. And I have to tell you something really great. We are nourished by Mother Earth. This is a feminine energy. And women are actually taking off now. But the wonderful men are diving into this multi-dimensionality because man was actually linear, one-dimensional. He had guidelines. You are a warrior, you have to fight, and you'd better keep your emotions hidden. Now, he's allowed to feel. Now he's allowed to develop these feminine qualities within himself. This is the most beautiful time for you men to really acknowledge what you have within you, also the feminine aspect. And as a result, we also match much better, men and women. Women as a multidimensional being, men as a multidimensional being, can finally live in resonance. Are you looking forward to that? You are such a new man already. I might just say that because you have a very spiritual wisdom. Yes, and those who are here are all already the new men. Look forward to this wonderful time. The subject of back problems. 500 billion, I've already said that. You know it all. There are no therapies available that can solve all this. Not yet, unfortunately, in conventional medicine. But I am happy to announce that many conventional doctors come to me who even learn and say, "What I can do is not enough for me. Please teach me." And it pleases me more and more, and it is more easygoing. I also say, my work is the medicine of the future and also the future of medicine. Spirit has to come into conventional medicine because that's what's missing. So far, no one has missed it at all. Therefore, the results cannot be such as to be satisfactory. We have great equipment, technology, we have highly qualified doctors, but unfortunately, we also have the most people who are ill. You have to imagine that today, billions are spent on devices to find diseases, to detect diseases. Not a single cent is spent to establish health. Imagine that. Today they say the sick person is needed. They are the number one economic pillar. And if I make people healthy, I'm a thorn in their side. But, as I said, it's changing. They'll all be calling for us spiritual healers. I'm brave to say this. This is what conventional medical therapy looks like when someone has a crooked spine, a scoliosis. But in the picture on the right, you can clearly see that this lady has a pelvic obliquity. Can you see that? On the left, the hip is much rounder. The right one is quite flat. Because she had to stand like that, the spine has deformed, and then even this back hump has formed. Otherwise, the lady would fall over. Because the body has to respond to the gravitational force, and after my treatment, this can be done perfectly. But here, of course, a wireframe was used. And I would like to remember the words of Dr. Carl Gustav Jung, who said, at around the turn of the century, mankind will be shocked about the patchwork we have done in conventional medicine because we have not provided holistic therapy. We will be horrified, he even said. And that is why I say again, my work is the medicine of the future. All right then, you should never operate on the spinal column. It is the connection to the universe. It is extremely sensitive. The entire bodily functionality is connected to the spine. If I injure something there, I have done a great deal of damage. Here's the proof. All the organs and control centers are also connected to the spine. People come to me with heart pain. All the pills they have to take. I say, there's nothing wrong with your heart. Your heart is healthy. You just have a compressed thoracic spine. That's why your heart doesn't get the right impulses. It can come to arrhythmias, to all kinds of manifestations. You know all that. A doctor would work on the heart. I work on the spine. And so I have treated many heart patients, and now more and more cardiologists come to me and say, "Can you check on me?" So the change is already here. Wonderful. Everything else, you can read it here. Also the pancreas, the kidneys, very important, the intestines, the appendix, and the hips and the glutes. If the spine is crooked, we have 500,000 hip replacements every year. Almost as many knees are replaced, and 200,000 slip discs. It's obvious that the disc has to slip out if the pelvis is crooked. How could it be otherwise? If the pelvis is straight because of my work, it can't happen at all. Can you grasp what is performed by my straightening the spine? You get your health back. And here I have an old template. I'm very proud that I've saved it because it was only available in a book for a short while. You can even see tumor cell renewal. The 22.5 frequency is connected to the spine. So you can pass on exactly what Paul Schmidt said back then. Cancer patients must be healed at the spine. That is why I have so much success. I wanted to take the last report with me this morning, but unfortunately I was in such a hurry that I left it. I have just freed another woman from breast cancer, where there were already metastases in the spine. She had already undergone surgery. Very, very bad. She was supposed to have her breast amputated and received chemo. The program was already in process, and somehow I met her husband in Baden-Baden at the fair, straightened his spine because he had difficulties walking, and I said to him, "You have a heavy load package on your shoulders. Since I'm a clairvoyant, I can see all this." And he said, "My wife has cancer." "Oh," I said, "I can help her." And so I only talked to her on the phone, and the next day the tumor was reduced already. Can you imagine that? Then she came after a fortnight. She cheated her way out of the hospital, came for the straightening, and then it went radically upwards. Chemo was cancelled, and I thank the doctors in Heidelberg for understanding this, because sometimes the doctors say, "The chemo has already been approved, we still have to give it to you." The doctors actually said, "That feels good." The tumor markers went down, and they confirmed her healing. Everything is possible. Please remember that. So, again, prove that the spine attaches itself immediately after the fertilization of the egg, because the spine shapes the embryo. All impulses emanate from here. And quite clearly, the child is formed afterwards. And when the children are born, they have the old program, of course. They are crooked. That's why the little girl already had 2 centimeters of deformity after the treatment, the divine order. These children grew up quite differently. Can you imagine? When they are straight, carrying a school bag is no longer a problem. Everything is in balance, and they are able to learn much better. And when the adult is straightened, I tell you, the risk of stroke shrinks away. Because the head is properly supplied with blood. People say to me, "I don't recognize myself at all. I am new." And that's true. I make you new. Do you know that I have a great address at home? I live in Roth. It's no coincidence. It used to be called Tor, and Roma and Amor, they used to swap them around. I live at Genheimer Weg 10. This means in English, the genes come home and he is the way. House number 10 means renewal. That's what I do. Exactly that. Just imagine, when I moved there, I had no idea about healing. But everything must have been already written in the divine plan, that I would be working there at some point. And that fits exactly with my work. I am very proud to have this address because I don't know any healer who lives so perfectly. And this is exactly how it will be with you. This is a standard that you will have later on. We will show you later on how it will look. Deep shoulders, deep shoulder blades. People also carry all the packages from previous incarnations. I'm cleaning all that up. In any case, 3.5 centimeters pelvic obliquity. Unfortunately, we cannot undress you. We are not allowed to do that. That's why we have to imagine the pelvis, how crooked it must be if someone has a 3.5 centimeter pelvic obliquity and a leg length discrepancy. So, here I have another picture showing men. My biggest case was 14 centimeters. And there was one with me that day, 7 centimeters. Can you imagine what these people already have gone through? If you have a 7 centimeter pelvic obliquity as a child in a plaster bed, then a corset, later these thick clutch shoes. In a second, less than a second, everything was fixed. The person could walk normally. An odyssey ended. A new life. All right, there's also an actual twist. That's when people stand like that. The sacroiliac joint is shifted sideways and tilted forward at the same time. This means that people's walking is impaired later on. Even an artificial hip is of no use. Most of the time they end up with a walker. After my treatment, I can't tell you how many people have already carried their walker into the car after my treatment. This young woman, now look at this young woman. She was only a student at the time. She already had such a large pelvic obliquity, 4.5 centimeter with actual twisting. She couldn't concentrate and needed painkillers every day. After my treatment, a new life. You've already shown that, Tanya? People come to us torn like that, and they have such a wonderful energy around them after the treatment. And you can see the red corners on the spine. These are blockages. And on the right, immediately after the straightening, the yellow points already predominate, because the energy flow is possible. And from the side, of course, the same. And the colors that I create are the delta and theta energies. These are high frequencies, healing currents flowing through the human being. And the potential for aggression also diminishes. Because when you are in pain, your moods are not so positive either. How else could it be? You're depressed all the time, but after the straightening, the mood barometer goes up. It can even be scientifically proven here. This is a picture of my pupil, because I also teach this work. He has also received a wonderful gift from me to help people. This is at my home. You see, many people come here. Germany already has 10,000 healers who have been trained by me. Yes, that's quite a sum. That is something to be proud of. But Tanya, I have been saying 10,000 for 3 years. There are probably already much more. In any case, people are open-minded. We are said to descend from Atlantis. We were a healing nation. Atlantis was an island that perished in a natural disaster in 960 BC. And there we have all healed, healed, healed. And that's how I would like to be again in Germany. Yes, everyone should finally put their healing abilities into practice. We are already healers. It's just instructions that I'm giving back to you. Good. I give seminars for senior citizens, and here, in every seminar, animals are included. I am also an animal healer. And animals are our soul companions. We must not neglect them. It is imperative to help. I also have a sanctuary. I am active everywhere. In Italy, I have to say, we changed the whole country. First, we cleansed the Vatican. It had to be done. It needed it most of all. All the Italian pupils were under Vatican hypnosis. I thought, this can't stay like this. They really need to be awakened. And now, such wonderful successes, such unbelievable feedback of healings. I am quite happy. And of course, a man who owns a castle has also heard about it, and now we're allowed to work there. That's really nice. As you can see, they're very curious. There is always a crowded house. Many students who are learning to heal, and that is very, very positive. Well, I have some other pleasant news for you. This is the Secretary of Health in Lithuania. He is not active anymore, but he still teaches at his university. He used to be a heart surgeon. When he saw my straightening, he said, "For God's sake, I have performed so many heart transplants. Now you're saying none of that was necessary?" That was a bitter pill for him. Yes, it was. Because if people would have been straightened, they wouldn't have needed a new heart. You see, so much is allowed to change now. I helped him with a 5-centimeter pelvic obliquity because he urgently needed knee surgery since he could no longer walk. And then he wrote a dedication for me and Tanya in his book and a testimony about my wonderful work, and he thanked me and is even planning that we should teach spiritual healing at the university in Lithuania to future doctors. That's where it has to go. We will do that. Yes, that's what I plan to do. That will be the beginning. And this is a humanitarian organization that I have in India. Here too we have built a school and we help everywhere. That is very important. India. How did I get to India? I was given a house in India and I have a lot to do in this country. For example, we will be working at the hospital there. We have already planned this for this coming year. There are 850 people waiting for us. 350 doctors also want to be straightened. And that confirms to me again and again that my work is needed everywhere. And thank God I do pass it on, because I can't reach the whole world. We already do so much, and this is a cardiologist who was so enthusiastic about my work. I had a patient that day who had only 20% heart function. He had blue lips, he was so weak, he needed an operation. After my straightening, he could climb a mountain. Immediately, he experienced a spontaneous healing, and of course, the cardiologist was thrilled. You see, doctors have confirmed my work. The greatest luck in my life was that I ordered a new spine from the universe, and 5 minutes later, I got it. You just have to start wishing for something. And there's even a picture. And getting the picture was harder than ordering the spine, because my partner absolutely did not want to take a picture of me undressed in the bathtub. So when I said to him, "Go get the camera, I just ordered a new spine. I think it's coming," he thought, "What happened to you today?" We were still supposed to be working, and I had already expressed such difficult wishes in the morning. And then I simply said, "But please fetch the camera. You are only supposed to take one picture." And then he finally took one. It wasn't a digital camera. However, when I get out of the bath, I told everyone I got a new spine. It was only 4 weeks later that I dared to have the film developed somewhere. And then I see this. Unique. The picture, if you edit it a bit on the computer, you can even see the discs. It's perfect. I was out of the bath and immediately pain-free until today. Yes, dear ones, this is the proof of my work that it works. 100%. There in the middle, you see a little snake of light. Take a look. I have enlarged it. There. I straightened a woman who had a 45-degree scoliosis and even a hump on her back. And when I activated her energy, Tanya happened to take a photo of me, and you can see exactly what her spine looked like. She was very bent, and afterwards she was perfectly straight. And then we asked ourselves, of course, what are these wheels of light? We don't know them yet. They are not chakras. And what did we find? Look, the wheel of divine order. And this confirms what I have always claimed about my work, that I establish the divine order in the human being. What does the divine order mean? Your wheel of life may finally spin. It includes the natural law of healing everything, as well as the law of justice, decency, ethics, and morals. Where are these laws now? Do people still live by them? No. Humanity is merely too blocked with the crooked spine. Emotionally, totally switched off. That's why they don't look for these things, for these basic rules, for the cosmic, eternal order of the entire universe. Only after my straightening do you find your way into this energy. And the other day, I also received a message. I am a medium, I can also channel, and the spiritual world told me, only through this help can humanity find its way into righteousness, into non-violence. Before that, it is not possible at all. I wonder why there are so many riots out there. Only after the establishment of divine order does man experience this transformation. So I do much more than just straighten the spine. It's barely describable. What is fulfilled with this? And the spiritual world says everyone who has been straightened by you already brings an energy of righteousness into his environment, into his family, into his country. First into his town, then his country, and finally the world. Everything strives for world peace. At no time was that possible. Only now. What we are experiencing now with the many people who are streaming in, that means for us the opening of the heart, compassion. The emotional levels are now finally allowed to become active. The ego is receding. Most people don't even know that they are still living only in ego energy. Yes, now everything is changing. It all comes from above. That is the way it's meant to be. And you see, the Vedas, the primitive people knew the energetic wheel, and so it is proven that I establish the divine order in you. The most important thing that an earthling can experience. Energy will never get lost. It remains with you forever. Once, forever. Every human being can only be straightened once. But he can have a follow-up treatment if he has strained himself, dislocated himself, fall on his bottom or something else. That happens sometimes. Otherwise, he can never become crooked again. Impossible. The spiritual world only produces perfect work. Here again you can clearly see the vortex torsion wave that I call up when I straighten people. This is an energetic vortex in the color light violet. That means it is still above the beta colors, above the theta colors. Beyond the violet light, it is a zero energy that I work with. It is not measurable at all. Terrestrial devices have not yet been developed that could measure my energy. And, I'm already on to the next subject. We will do another demonstration. While Tanya is measuring here, I can only make it possible in this way. I will retreat for a while, and I will make all of you here radiation-free. I am also a spiritual alchemist. being radiated, the scourge of mankind. What can be done about it? 1 million rheumatism sufferers a year due to radiation. It's getting worse and worse. Children today already have short circuits in their glands and so on. Psychiatric wards full to the brim. Burnout. I don't hear anything else. I will free all of you from radiation, and there's a very simple way to help you stay radiation-free. Pick up a protection pendant from my stand. With it, you all will be equipped. Normally, I also demonstrate with my radiation protection pendants that you have an aura of 50 meters. What scientists have only begun to suspect, I have been practicing for years, because the spiritual world are my advisors, and I am far ahead with everything. Really. I will do that. Meanwhile, Tanya will show you how twisted and crooked humans are. Hello, dear people. Here we have another particularly large pelvic obliquity, a top model. Here we have a young man with a 5 centimeter leg length difference. I can stretch that again. A big difference. The ankles are offset. Can you film this again? He's struggling, trying to sit up, but he can't do any better. Please lie down on your back. And in the supine position, the difference is the same, 5 centimeters. We are showing again that he is lying straight and he's not affecting him. Would anyone in the family like to pull on the short leg? Dad? Try pulling on the left leg to make it longer. It works a bit, but when you let go again, it goes right back. It won't get any longer. That's a real pelvic obliquity. Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Today we already had someone here. The little boy is like that too. So be glad you're here, Hannes. Are you all looking? Does anyone want to pull on the short leg? Maybe you can lengthen it. Oh, you pull nicely. You pulled well. And don't you dare say you don't have any strength. I don't allow myself that at all. But unfortunately, it didn't do anything. You can't influence that with mental powers, by force or how the chiropractor does it. Only by healing through the spirit. Please lie down. And you spectators should open your hands like this. You can feel this wonderful healing energy. I'm clairvoyant and will look at Hannes from the inside. What has to be done, and Hannes should close his eyes and let go of everything. Of course, if it's so crooked at the bottom, it's also crooked at the top. The atlas vertebra rests completely on the edge. The temporomandibular joint is also displaced. Vestibular organs, even the skull plates are not centered. He also has several twists in the thoracic spine and in the lower lumbar spine. The coccyx bone is at an oblique angle, a counter curve that is quite extreme. The pelvis is striving to find the perfect position, and the hip joints. Then we look at what has changed here. Knee joints. It was all out of balance. Come and see. I'm just pushing this together. This is how the spirit heals. He still has a little limitation of the movement here, but you see, he only walked on the outer edge. He never walked on his sole. With a short leg, you walk here. With a long leg, you walk here. He has never been able to tread with a flat foot, and the legs have tried to help themselves out of the awkward situation. Do you understand? And now you're as straight as a die. Sit up, please. Amazing. Amazing. That was the right answer. Very good. Look at this. Would you like to take a picture? I'll push it apart a bit. Loosen up. Don't do any stretching. Then I can show it better. Look. We have overcome 5 centimeters. This is how the spirit heals, and spiritual healing always works, and anyone who says otherwise has no knowledge. Come here, all of you dear people. You don't have to go through suffering and pain anymore. The healing is here. I will see you soon. Thank you. All the best. And when you walk now, of course, it's a completely different experience of life, because now you can step on both feet. Down here are the plantar reflex zones. He couldn't activate them before. They are also important for your whole functionality, and now you are finally walking flat. Do you play football too? Yes, a little. Now you can score some goals. I wish all the football players would come to us. With their crooked feet, they have tendon injuries all the time, and their knees are damaged, and that has to be fixed too. Come on, all of you, especially Bavaria Munich. I've straightened them before. They've already been here, only the new players haven't yet. We still have to do that. So, now Daddy can try to push the leg back into the old position. Push it back. Yes, sir. It's impossible. Not a chance. It stays straight. Hannes, if you sit down, we can show it to everyone. It stays straight and doesn't tilt to the side like before. Are you sitting more comfortably? Yes? Do you feel the change? I'm very pleased and congratulate you again. You can imagine the long-term damage he would have had to endure if he hadn't come today. Hip joint damaged, knee joint damaged. It's unavoidable. 5 centimeters is a severe misalignment. The pelvis keeps going up and the bones get seriously damaged. We have over 500,000 hip replacements every year. We can spare people all that. Send them all here, friends, acquaintances, and then we'll help. Thank you. Here we have a difference of 3 centimeters for the young lady. Left shoulder is higher. That's a difference of about 2 centimeters. You can feel that I'm really pushing here. Here we go to the left, right, left, right. Put your feet together, please. And here's more distance to the left, although I do press the rulers evenly. The human being is an energy structure, and if you close it like this, you will become tired, exhausted, you won't be able to concentrate, disastrous. What I also can't stand is when you walk like that. You're not allowed to do that until you're over 90. So you still have plenty of time. This posture throws you off balance. You fall forward and the oldest fall down all the time because they have the wrong posture. But I have to absolve all of you because you are still crooked and bent, and therefore I forgive you. But when you are straightened later and then want to put your hands back there, it will be difficult. Because then you have to bend, or the hands here in front also make the hunched back. So please don't do that. You then just stand up straight. That's not right either. Look, here's a chart where you can see that. These are the main energy centers of a human being. At the bottom is the root chakra. You must not close it because it is your grounding. Then here we have the sacral chakra called the navel chakra. Here, solar plexus, heart chakra. If you do this, you keep everything closed and you have disorders in the form of being tired and weak. That is why I have explained this to you now. Good, now come closer. Someone is very much affected here. Victoria, lie down. Come closer. Relax, Victoria. Maybe someone wants to pull on the shorter leg. You, for example. Let's see what you can do. What do you say? You lie down straight again. Looks a little better. Nothing has changed. It's impossible to do that. You can't pull down the crooked pelvis. How can you? It's all fixed. You can only do it with the power of the Spirit. That's why I'm with you, Victoria. And you weren't guided here today by pure chance. I'm allowed to help you now. And I will do this with energy. For the human being is an energy entity himself. Actually, he can only be healed with energy. If you close your eyes, Victoria, you will feel the energy flowing into you from above through the crown chakra and then cleaning up inside you. I start with the organs of equilibrium. The jaw joint is also crooked, just as it is displaced above, as it is here below. The atlas vertebra is corrected, and the thoracic spine, your neck and cervical spine were extremely compressed. In a flesh, I'm already at the thoracic spine, lumbar spine, dry bones. Please drink 2 liters a day from now on, because if I expand all this now, the intervertebral discs, which are partly squashed and dry, can soak up fluid and you'll be completely free of pain. The pelvis has aligned. The femoral bones are also adjusted. I'm already at the knees and now I'm actually through. Come and look so you can see the miracle for yourselves. I just push it together. I don't have to do anything else. Healing through the Spirit is absolute, and it always works. What does my audience say? Awesome. Unbelievable. Thank you. I saved you, honey. I will tell you why. Look. In the case where it was tilted like this down here, it was also tilted like this up here. Now her legs are the same length. Look. And before, when she was still so crooked, she only walked on the outer edge of the foot and here on the inner edge. The foot tries to compensate for that. She could never walk on the foot mechanisms. So the main foot muscle, the foot elevator, was not used at all. You are only like this, and now you walk like this for the first time. And now the reflex zones are also activated at the bottom, because they have not been able to do anything up to now either. And furthermore, you have to know that the entire physical functionality is connected to the spine, which means I have not only taken care of your skeleton, but also of the organs and control centers, which are automatically healed as well. That's where the healing starts. It is actually absurd when I imagine that conventional medicine has not yet evolved and still treats in a symptom-oriented way when a person is crooked and twisted. How are people supposed to be healed? That can't work at all. Healing always starts with the spine. Did you understand that? Great. Thank you. Congratulations. Is there anything you would like to say? How do you feel? It's easier to sit upright. I'm glad. Thank you very much. Everything's fine here. Can you straighten your knees, please? Lift up your feet. Great. Knees down. To the millimeter. Perfectly straight. One can still tell you had scoliosis. The muscles on the right are much stronger than on the left. But the shoulder blades, the bones are perfectly aligned. Can you feel me pressing against the bones here? Wonderful. The spine is straight, straight, straight. Scoliosis is gone. Feet together, please. And the spacing is equal. Excellent. Here we have a boy with a 3.5 centimeter pelvic obliquity. How old are you? 4 years old and 3.5 centimeter pelvic obliquity. It's great that you're here and the pretty tractors that your mom painted on your feet aren't driving side by side at all. They're completely offset. Leo, I'm going to help you now. You are a wonderful boy. Your pelvic obliquity is extreme because there's also an axial rotation. The pelvic blades are shifted backwards and one side is curved forward. Sit up, please. Wow. I'll show it again. Wait, sweetie, look. What do you say now? That's 5 centimeter. Let's see what will happen. He's not an easy case. He's had accidents. But I'm doing the best I can. Sitting up. Come, everybody, look. You're witnessing a miracle. The legs are the same length.
Wunderbar.
What they can do, they even attract metal, and if you cover them up, then you have no energy. Do you see what these wheels do? They are energy vortices, and they are now attracting ether waves. They feed us cosmically, and if you keep them shut, you have no energy. Hands are acting sensory tools. They must always be in the front. The moment you bring your hands to the back, you lose your balance and fall to the front. Then you stumble and fall down, and you are not cosmically nourished. It is very important that I show you this. You will be amazed how often you will be standing here so awkwardly. Get out of this habit. No hand is allowed here at all, because this is the root chakra. This is our grounding. Again, something learned. That's very important, but the doctors don't know anything about it. Excuse me, but you have to understand that. They don't even give advice. And besides, hiding your hands is an old habit from the military. People always had to put their hand behind their backs. That means you have to follow like a stupid herd of sheep. You are not allowed to do anything on your own. Here you are under control. Unfortunately, this has continued to this day, with people always holding their hands behind their backs. You'd better come here and get straightened, then you'll be taught even more. I'm happy I can do these movements that I couldn't do my whole life, and now at 50 I can fly like a little girl at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now at 50. Now I can. I feel much, much lighter. Thank you. How are you, my dear? Very well. I came here this morning having pain, and now when I move after the straightening, they are gone. That's great. I'm happy for you. With my knowledge, and I don't think you have any doubts about this, I naturally also have the capability to create a healing instrument for humanity. This is an earth power card, a charging station for human beings. There are enough fuel stations for cars. But where is there something for humans where they can refuel? He only gets empty, exhausting work, stress all the time. Batteries are empty, and so the spiritual world told me to create this charging station. It looks simple, but it took me over a year to create it, and there are over 1,000 pieces of information in it, all of which I received from above. It gives you complete grounding. You are standing in life in a completely different way, and of course there's also healing energy in it. Shall we show you that once you've stood on this, you can't even fall over? Yes, let's do it. I need 2 volunteers who can stand on one leg. One to the right and one to the left. Turn around, look at me. I will do a kinesiological test with you. Put your arms up. I'll start with you, and you have 1 second left. I push your arm down and you hold against it. And you watch how strong he is. You have quite a bit of strength already. Now please stand on one leg, bring your knee up really high, and your arms like you did before. Now I'll push you off balance, and you count the seconds how long he can remain standing. Attention, here we go. 2 seconds, already very good. Now please stand on the card. Stand up straight, close your eyes. And now Rainer. You have already seen it, so stand on one leg right away, knee really high, arms high, and please count the seconds for Rainer. 1, 2, the arm has to stay up. 2 seconds is not very much, but still, normally people fall down immediately. So, dear spectators, open your hands. Feel how the 2 are already saturated with this healing power that is emerging. It now fills the whole room. Your hands are getting warm and tingling. Do you feel anything? Yes? That is the energy. The moment you stand on my card, the whole body is nourished with divine power. I think his time is up, Tanya. Daniel, did you feel anything? Yes. I felt energy coming up here. He is very sensitive. These young people are the healers of the future. Arms up again and the same leg up as before. That's it. Now let's see how long he can stand now. I push harder and he almost pushes me away. It's impossible to knock him over. Can you believe it? What do you say? That's what is needed now. It's amazing. Humans are an energetic structure. Rainer, did you feel something? Yes, my feet got warm. Then stand on one leg. Come a little over here, arms up again, and the knee as high as before. Attention, here we go. 1, 2, 3. The arm doesn't go down anymore. I'm pushing harder. He's got a lot of strength. I'm pushing harder. There is no wobble at all.
Super.
What do you say, Rainer? Amazing.